Well, hello everyone.
Hey.
How's everyone doing tonight? We are ready to drink some whiskey that we've never had before. I see Sean's here, so got too many glasses in front of me. I can't see the computer.
Yeah, so we've been filming all day for our normal content for the channel, and we had to do a switch up to get to our live setup, and had a few technical difficulties here last minute. So sorry if we're a couple minutes late, guys.
I don't even think we're a couple minutes late. We're like maybe 30 seconds, if that. We got it working. I see you guys have been having a good time in chat for, I don't know, an hour or so. It's kind of been funny. Every time I open it up, I see that there's more comments and you're just having a good time, having good conversation about whiskey and about microphones and whatever else is going on. Who needs a video? You just chat all together. Yes, we got this from Bourbon School. They sent us some whiskey from New York, and
it's a local distillery to them, Buffalo Distilling maybe, but the whiskey they have is called 1 Foot Cock.
Yeah, so that's where they sent us the sticker. They also sent us one of their stickers, but it's harder to see because it's dark. But cheers, everyone. I see Tater Dom, Echoes of Eternity, RJ the Fed, Chris Jenkins, Sugar Kitty, The Bloody 81. I don't think I've seen that name before. Welcome. Victor, 4 Leaf Whiskey. We just have lots of people.
Yeah, so does it sound okay? Can you hear us, guys? Our microphone was showing that only one channel was working randomly earlier, so...
Well, if it works, I guess. So should we bring Sean on right away? Sean, you ready to go?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's bring him in.
Okay, let me figure that out. Why don't you keep talking? Maybe we'll pour some whiskey.
Yeah, so we're gonna bring in Sean from Echoes and Eternity Bourbon. We did a sample exchange. We sent him some Pacific Northwest bourbons, and we got some 13th Colony stuff from Georgia.
Yeah, we've never had 13 Colony, so it was nice of him to share some of that with us. Yeah.
Anyways, he's going to come on. We're going to interview him as we taste through the samples, and if we have any questions about the whiskey, he'll be here as the resident expert to kind of answer those questions for us. And hopefully at the end of it all, we're 13th Colony fans, and you guys are Echoes and Eternity fans.
Yeah, and we have we've never had anything from Georgia, actually. So
we do have one ASW. It is an Amberana.
Oh, well, finish. I don't count that because I don't like it.
You don't like it at all.
It doesn't count if I don't like it. Okay. Yep, I put the link in the chat, so if that works for you, we'll bring you on when we see you. To start with, I'm just going to pour the first one we have here. Oh, I just spilled it already.
You're just going to go straight across. We have 5 samples, A, B, C, D, and E for those keeping score at home. The A is going to be the Sour Mash, which is 105 proof.
Hey, guys.
Hello, Sean.
Hey, Sean.
Oh, man, I don't hear anything. Let's see. Can
you hear me now?
Well,
hello?
Why don't I hear anything?
Well, you look good.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Can you guys hear him and it's me, or is it just nobody hears him? We hear him. Okay, so it's a me problem. See, this is actually what we were having trouble with, was our sound. It wasn't working, but then it was working. So let me just troubleshoot this for a minute.
Yep, I'll keep talking. So I'm pouring sample B, which is the Southern Rye. It's a 95 proofer.
There we go. Now we fixed it.
Got it.
Clicked off the wrong headphones.
So Sean, you were still backstage, I guess, when I was telling everybody what we're going to do is we're going to interview you
Okay.
while we drink through these samples.
Absolutely.
And you'll also get to be like the 13th colony expert and answer any questions we have about these. So you're going to do lots of talking.
That's fine. I can pull up with talking.
Okay, sample C is the Southern Bourbon. It's 95 proof.
Okay, I'm gonna get these mixed up because I don't have a line.
Yeah, you just got to put them in a line like
Well,
I'm doing.
I got a keyboard, and I got snacks, I got water, I got way too much stuff in my little space here.
I think your snacks are about to fall off the edge over there.
We'll move the snacks. Snacks can go out of the way.
Okay, here's C.
No snacks for me. Oh, look at that! I'm pushing buttons.
So you had a busy day today, Sean. I saw your video. You had the bourbon drop.
Yep, we had the bourbon drop in Alabama. It's the third Saturday of every month. And so depending on the list that's out there, a lot of us will get out there sometimes even the night before and camp out and hang out and talk and drink and have some food. But like this morning, they had some Blanton, which I got a Blanton's for my brother-in-law. He was looking for a backup Blanton. And they didn't really have anything else that I really wanted, but they did have one thing new, and that was the blackened cask strength.
Okay.
So I got a celebrity whiskey cask strength, which I hadn't seen. So I'll do some kind of celebrity bourbon showdown.
Well, that sounds pretty good.
So that was D and that's E.
Oh, okay. And congratulations on your 1,000 subscribers. That's pretty recent.
I appreciate that. You guys got to be like next in line. I mean, you guys are like right there. We just need to get the flow headed that way now.
We're just inching. We're inching up there. That's okay. We don't put out a video or 2 videos a day like you do.
I think sometimes people just dump my channel because I put out too much. They're like, "How do they find? Let's get."
Okay, so D was the cask strength rye at 127.2, and E is the cask strength bourbon at 129.0.
Oh, those are hot.
So
We're drinking some hot whiskey.
I think I'm just going to start left to right.
Sour mash. So this one's was your favorite?
So this one, outside of the cask strengths, that was my favorite. It's a 9-year sour mash. It comes in at 105 proof, but that what you're drinking right there is the last of a dying breed. This is a discontinued.
Oh, so if we find out we love this one, we're just out of luck.
I have to say,
Yep.
Sean, still a few bottles left in your area. Send me one ASAP. And it's a $42 bottle, but it's a 9-year sour mash.
It smells really good. So, Sean, can you tell us the inspiration for your channel name?
Yeah, so Echoes in Eternity Bourbon. If you guys have ever watched like Gladiator, there's a part in Gladiator where he talks about, all will be is echoes in eternity. Basically, when we're gone, is that all we'll have is the echoes that are left over. And so when I started doing this, I wanted to make sure that there was something out there for my daughter or son or grandkids one day to go back and look and go, oh, there's Grandpa. Those will be my echoes there. There's Grandpa and talking to people all the time.
Well, that's a pretty good name then.
Yeah. I really appreciate the significance of that and the thought you put into it.
Yeah, and I'm sure people are like, that's a long name to try to figure out that you want to drink, but it's pretty fun. Yeah, I enjoy it.
Hey, you've got the name Bourbon in it, so I think people will figure it out. They're like, I don't know what Echoes in Eternity is, but you've got Bourbon in your name, so you're our kind of people.
Well, Matt used to think I was trolling him all the time because there's something in it with a Pink Floyd song. So the first time after I met Matt face to face, the next video I did, I had on a Pink Floyd shirt just to troll him a little bit. And it's like, you're just an ass. I'm like, I'm having fun.
Actually, that's something I appreciate about your videos. That little detail you do where you wear a shirt that has something on it, and then you do your 10-second clip from a movie or something, and they usually go together.
Yeah, the Cobra Kai and Karate Kid was great.
I try to bring back the things that made me laugh as a kid. I think a lot of the people that watch our videos are kind of in that same 15 to 20 year range, and they get a kick out of it.
Yeah. So I'm going to move on to the Southern Rye. It's 95 proofer. And Laura already kind of alluded to the sheer volume of videos you put out. So you started your channel in January of 2023.
Yes.
and you have 460 plus videos out.
Yeah.
First of all, how do you do that? And second of all, has there been a day since then that you have not posted?
I don't believe I've missed a day yet. Even when I went to Italy, I did some stuff and it was going as I was going. And so what I did is, like, originally I'd always do at least a short, then sometimes a short and a longer video. And then I did this like binge of like drink cocktail things. And I just kind of put it out like a 15-second thing to show drink cocktails and stuff. But now I try to do it at least one video a day. And sometimes, most of the time, it's going to be, 6 to 12 minutes, somewhere in there. Just to go over, because I have so much bourbon that I need to figure out. My wife's over here just looking at me side-eyed. That I need to figure out what I'm going to do with it all. So I was like, I better go ahead and find a spot for it and go downstairs from there.
Yeah. So are you familiar with Four Leaf Whiskey?
Yeah.
Stacy, the resident Irish expert, she loves your shirt.
Thank you. Great series. If you guys haven't watched Penny Dreadful, amazing series. And you guys got some awesome people on tonight. I saw Dave Vogelsangs on there. He's amazing.
Dave's the man.
He is phenomenal. I mean, his bourbon hunts are insane. You talked about earlier the Bloody 81. Yeah, he is a Marine as well. So I know you have that in common with him, Troy. He's still active duty. He's in California. And, him and I, he's been able to get me some amazing stuff, and I've been able to get him some stuff. Awesome people. You've got Major Zero, I think, on there. And there's so many on there that I talk to on a regular basis. You do, too. That community is just awesome.
Yeah, our chat is just kind of rolling, and it's hard to keep up and pay attention to you and drink and do all this stuff at the same time.
Yeah, I'm not that good at multitasking, but I'm doing my best here.
So if you're in the chat and you're commenting and we don't see your comment, we apologize. We'll just keep posting it if it's something you want on the screen.
But this Southern Rye has so much flavor for 95 proof. It is really good.
It's like a spearmint gum. It's really good.
That's the one unique part about 13th Colony a lot, is they get so much flavor in their younger whiskey that, because of the temperature change and the constant humidity, you're getting 20-degree changes on average every day. You get so much penetration in the barrels that they lose an angel share all the time. And so it's hard for them to get to 8, 10, 12 years. They got a 15-year coming up next year. That'll be their 15-year. And I heard it was phenomenal. A friend of mine went and tasted it Tuesday when he was with another YouTuber you guys might know, Bruzel. Bruzel went to go pick a barrel. But they got to try some of the 15-year. And my buddy Jeremy was like, Sean, it was amazing. But what's funny is that and I'm not going to give out all the details, but they picked a younger barrel because the flavor was so good on it, even though there were some older barrels available. But they lose so much angel cut that they get really intense flavors, really, really young.
Yeah, so I was kind of worried, knowing that Georgia's a hotter place, and knowing how the heat affects the Texas whiskeys.
Yeah.
But I've been pleasantly surprised so far. These first two I've tasted are really good.
Yeah, that's the thing that I think I like about it is there's, for a young bourbon, that you get a lot of deeper flavor and viscosity and oiliness that you wouldn't expect from a bourbon that's young, and it's because that temperature range. And their master distiller, which is really cool, Graham Arthur, he's a former chef, cordon bleu chef, and he's their master distiller. So he's always playing and tinkering with things. And they're just a small family operation as far as a husband and wife team work there. Megan and Brian, they're amazing. The guys that started it, they just wanted to make spirits for their friends for the holidays. And they got to find a way to do this legally. And that's how they became the oldest distiller in Georgia since Prohibition.
So I'm not sure if we already asked this. Are you in Georgia?
I live in Alabama, Phoenix City, Alabama. It's a sister city of Georgia. I literally can be at the Georgia border in 2 minutes.
Okay.
I live literally across the river from Georgia. And it's
similar to us with Oregon.
Miles. Huh?
Similar to us with Oregon. We're literally on the Columbia River.
Okay. So yeah, same type of thing. I cross the river every day to go to work into Georgia. It's 55 miles from here to the 13th Colony Distillery, so I can be there in about an hour and 10 minutes. And it's really cool. And Atlanta's about an hour, and depending on what side of Atlanta you want to be on, but south side of Atlanta Airport's about an hour and 20 minutes from here too.
Okay.
Super cool. So I'm going to move on to the third one here. This is the Southern Bourbon, a 95 proofer. And the next question, so in your channel description, you say this is a project to help hone skills for something heavier, but
Yep.
that's a story for another day.
Yeah.
Is it too early to elaborate, or is it another day?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll elaborate, but it is a very heavy topic. I lost my oldest son to suicide, and I'm going to have a channel in the future that's dedicated to surviving suicide, what it's like after you've had someone in your family that you love and care about, that when something like that happens, the steps that I went through, the group counseling, the counseling as an individual, the people that carried me and the friends that were there for me, and it's still 5, almost 6 years later,
Sure.
the things that I still go through, but there's how I made it through to the point where I'm at now. And I had to get comfortable in front of a camera like we're doing now, because it's not normal where we sit in front of a camera and start talking.
No,
There are people
it
around.
is definitely not normal.
Definitely not normal. And so I had to get comfortable in front of a camera. So when I went into a subject that is going to be so difficult, that I could be authentic and not have to worry about the minutia and just talk. And so that's what that project was working towards. I'm glad you saw that in there, and I'm glad you asked the question.
Yeah. First of all, I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
And what you're planning sounds amazing. And I think that the community that we're all a part of here, the whiskey community, is a great place to lean, to draw on, to pull some stuff out of, to help you hone these skills that you're trying to work on.
Yeah.
And you're a good talker. You're going to have success. You really are.
I appreciate it. And it's more for hopefully helping other people, because I had so many people help me, and I still have people help me on a daily basis with stuff. And once you get to a certain point, so many have given to you, it's time to give back and hopefully help somebody else out.
Yeah. This guy's pretty good too.
I know, these are all good.
I'm not disappointed by a single one of these so far.
I'm hoping that they.
Oh, I got some tobacco on the finish.
Oh yeah, on that bourbon, you'll get some tobacco, some leather in there, a tiny bit of cinnamon in there, and these are $40 bottles in our area.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they make it out west. Then, I mean, I'm sure that's a long ways down the list. I heard you on your other video saying that they are going to be in Kentucky, so that's a big step for them.
That is a monster step for them. When you've got a different state moving their stuff into Kentucky now, that's a different step. I talked with their marketing manager via email, Danielle, just Friday, and she was like, "This is what's happening." And I'm like, my jaw almost hit the floor, because I even did a video about, is Georgia the next state to kind of take the reins as far as one of the powers? You've got Tennessee and Kentucky. Is Georgia going to say, "Look at us now"? And now they're moving into Kentucky, and they're already in Tennessee.
Well,
I can see why they're expanding. This stuff is really good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's definitely unique also. So that's one thing. A lot of bourbons can taste really similar to each other, and these, I mean, have a lot of flavor. They're not like anything we have on our shelf. They're different, and if they're only $40, that's amazing.
Oh,
yeah.
There's an interesting story behind their bottles, that we've got here. These are like the birthday bourbon bottles. And so when they were going to get the bottle, they were trying to determine a bottle. They were with the people that did bottles for hours. And at the end of the day, they couldn't find a bottle they liked. And the guy just threw it up at the end of the table and said, "Well, how about this one?" And they said, "Okay." And they got the patent for this. And I think the birthday bourbons now is a little bit different, but this is, the old birthday bourbon bottle.
Okay.
So is it difficult to pour? Because I feel like the birthday bourbon is kind of difficult to pour, and I made a mess when I poured out of it.
You've got to be very careful with it, because it is a little. I like it because you can grab it like this, but you have to be careful when you pour it, because you will get a little bit on the edge and it'll run down the side. So you have to be very careful when you pour it.
Yeah, and that profile of a bottle takes up a lot of shelf space.
It does. And you talk about that. That's an excellent point. When you go to the liquor stores, that's one thing they'll say is this takes a lot of space and there's a lot of dusting because there's a lot of glass surface area to it. But I think it just looks great on a shelf.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure it would look really good.
And it tastes really good.
It tastes really good too.
Okay, we ready to get into this next one? So
Yeah.
this is the cask strength rye, 127.2 proof.
Oh boy.
And our question for you, Sean, is what excites you in the world of whiskey, and what excites you in the world of whiskey YouTube?
So the whiskey YouTube part, I'll go to that first, is that every day I have an opportunity to meet amazing people. And you know, I call people of my channel members. You're a member of this channel, and I appreciate you guys, but they teach me so much. I have an opportunity to learn something new every day in the whiskey part of YouTube, whether it's from the members or whether it's from people like yourself that run channels from areas that I don't know anything about, or you have a different take on things or different perspective on things. There's always something new to learn. And I love that. Now, the things that I love about whiskey is I love to find the little things that you don't know anything about. A master pick, or, you know, the King of Georgia that came out from Southern Collective that probably 99% of the people that are watching this will never know anything about it. But I just was like, I fell in love with it, but there's only very limited quantities. And so I get to talk about something that probably no one's ever going to hear or know about. And they're like, you're just talking to talk now.
Yeah, I enjoy that about watching so many of those channels like you that's on the East Coast, and you're drinking things I've never heard of, never seen on a shelf. We don't have anything like that around here. And you're talking about how good these bottles are, which, you know, I don't need an excuse to buy more whiskey, but now I want to.
So, and I'll tell you the one thing I know about you, Laura, is we're brother and sister in arm on Jack Daniels. I
Yes.
love everything that Jack Daniels has put in one of those square profile bottles. I think that was Myron. Bourbon Drops talks about if you've got that gold label, you're right in my house. Yeah, they're single barrel pick stuff, whether it's the bourbon or the rye, the Jack 10 and Jack 12 I've enjoyed. The only one that was a little bit harder on me, and I'm going back to it, is the single malt that they put out, the twice barreled malt one. And so I'm going back to it.
Yeah, we like that one quite a bit.
We like it, but so I like a lot of single malts. I don't know that it's like in my top American single malts.
No,
like,
it's not. It's definitely a unique malt profile.
Yeah, but
you know, we're used to the Pacific Northwest single malts and the Texas single malts and the Colorado single malts, and those are the three regions that I feel are leading the game in American single malts. And I think like the Kentucky Tennessee is playing catch up, and nothing out of Kentucky that I've tasted so far has been good. But the one out of Tennessee, the Jack Daniels one, I at least liked it. So it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, they're not known for those, and it's going to take time for them to catch up to the game. I had a Balcones single malt that really shocked me and surprised me last week because I've just never had some good opportunities with Texas whiskey. Now, Dave Vogelsang and Victor in chat are trying to change me on that, and I thank you much for that. But I had that Balcones, and I was like, this is interesting. I mean, it was just so dark and so rich, and I had so many different things to it. I was like, this is different.
Yeah, we have a couple from there that we really like, and they're very different from each other also. So
one of them is in New Charred Oak, finished for 5 years in the Texas heat, and the other is in ex Oloroso sherry casks.
Okay,
so it's finished much like a Scotch, and the color, you know, it's a lot lighter. You can see through it. The one in New Charred Oak is like motor oil. You can't see through it.
Yeah.
Both are fantastic, but completely different flavors. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm laughing at this. So RJ, I just kind of try to make everyone a moderator when I'm paying attention, because if there's more people doing it, then I don't have to do it. And if you mess with it, if you do a bad job, then I guess I could just take it away. So, it's easier to give it than worry about it later.
Well, I'll tell you how ignorant I am. Is I kept wondering, what are all these people with the wrenches for weeks? I'm like, with the wrench? How do I get the cool wrench in front of my name?
Yeah.
You just have to, when I'm paying attention, you have to make a comment. Otherwise.
Yeah. So I see Mark from Northwest Bourbon in the chat as well.
Hey,
He
Mark.
just recently put out, he's also military.
Yeah.
He just recently put out a video of the new Jack Daniel's single malt, and I believe it's a travel exclusive, but military gets them on base, those travel exclusives. I think you get the bottled in bond Jack Daniel's there as well. Everyone else has to go duty free to get it.
So the Class 6 for military people is amazing. My son-in-law is active right now in the Army, and every time I go to visit him, we're going to the Class 6 because you can get fantastic bottles, great price, no tax.
So is that basically duty free then?
Essentially there.
Nice. And so I was watching his live stream a couple nights ago, and there's another Northwest whiskey. I don't know. Does she have a channel or is she just Instagram?
I don't know who you're talking
Whiskey
about.
Wanderberg.
I think she just says Instagram.
Anyway, she was on there and she had just picked up the new Jack Daniel's Bonded Rye.
Okay.
And said she had grabbed it at a Total Wine up in the Puyallup area. Well, it was too far for me to drive. I had the day off yesterday, but I thought I'd check out the one in Olympia, which is only about an hour from us.
Okay.
And I went in there. I did find it, but also while I was there, I found the Bombergers and the Shanks sitting on the shelf.
That is awesome.
And so, yeah, watching these other whiskey channels sometimes helps with the hunts, even if you luck into them.
No, that's the one really cool thing. Like, I'm watching your stuff, and I'm like, I wish I could get a double rye. I'm like, that would be nice to get a double rye. I could get that out here. There's certain things that are just hard to get because they haven't made it to your area yet.
Yeah, but we tried the Jack Daniel's rye, since we were talking about how much we like the bonded rye, and it's definitely in between their other two ryes for quality. So it's better than the red label,
the single barrel rye.
Single barrel, but not as good as barrel proof, which is expected. But it was good flavor. Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. It's
solid and it sits like right between them where it should. It's a bottle that I can grab and sip and, enjoy it. It's not going to blow your socks off.
Okay. So which bottle are you guys on now? Are you on the cask strength rye?
Just getting ready to start the cask strength bourbon, which is 129.0.
Okay.
And so last time I asked you what excites you about the whiskey world and the whiskey YouTube world. Now I want to ask what's bumming you out about it.
The only thing that really bums me out about the whiskey world, and I hate to feel like I'm that old man saying, get off my lawn, but I absolutely despise when people are just trying to make it a business to flip bottles.
Yeah.
If you want to get a bottle for your buddy or something like that, or a couple bottles, and you say, okay, I'm going to sell one and to kind of maybe help with some of my funding for how much I spent on this bottle, that's cool. But don't go buy 3 or 4 cases and go secondary that moment and nobody else in the area gets anything. That bums me out more than anything.
Yeah, and it's kind of surprising that people are able to do that so easy. I guess I've never tried, but there's like on Instagram and anything, even YouTube, I get comments that are like, hey, hit me up. We've got these bottles. Like, who falls for that? I don't believe that any of these people actually have bottles.
Well, there's a lot of, you're right. You get scams like, hey, I got Pappy, 20 for $89. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Go away. Block. It's horrible. But there are people that really kind of make a living on following when these stores are going to get these things. If there's no limits on them, they're going to go up there and they're going to flip them all. Like the bourbon that you're drinking on right now, when it went on seal box. It was sold at $200 a bottle and gone in 30 seconds. But
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
That's insane.
yeah, locally we can get this bottle at 2 places. And I've actually picked up an extra bottle today. One of them's called the Tap House in Fairburn, Georgia, not far from here. And I was able to get 2 bottles at $91. A buddy of mine, he was able to get a couple of bottles himself. But then some guy went in there because they had no limit and bought 3 cases and then flipped them all on secondary. Within a day and a half, he's made a couple grand, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, there's a bunch of people that could have had some nice pours and experienced and shared things, but you turned it into a secondary business and nobody else got to enjoy it. Unless you have.
Did I just lose?
Oh, I got Terrence Walker texting me. I love Terrence. If you guys have certain people on your channel like Dave Vogel saying, or Victor, or you know, and Terrence on my end too, that you just like, you're always happy to see them in the comments because they're always going to bring something interesting for you.
Oh yes. I definitely am happy. I can't believe we have 27 people in chat. It says
That's
like
awesome.
That's insane.
What I couldn't believe is we had people starting in the chat an hour before we went live.
Well, see, the cool part about the community is they when you get people that want to interact together and it's authentic, I mean, it just grows itself. And you get people that make these relationships just by talking in the chat and hanging out. And they're like, hey, I live in this area. Point me to a right place. I'm asking Dave last week, hey, I got a buddy going to Indianapolis. Can you tell him where to go? And he's like, I'll be there next week. And I'm like, okay, cool. So you get people that can really authentically help other people find some of the stuff.
Yeah, we Dave is a great guy. He has been traveling around. I don't know what all states he just went to for work, but he had a list. He was going to try to help us find some stuff. They were like impossible to find bottles, so he didn't find them. But I mean, it was great. He was emailing us like, "Oh, I didn't find you that stuff, but look what I got for me." And I mean, I can't believe how much stuff he gets. Yeah, if he creates a channel, it would be amazing.
No, Dave, he's going to be perfectly set up for retirement to start his own YouTube channel. His wife's getting ready to retire. He's got another year and a half before he retires, but he's going to have such a bunker of bourbon, he'll never run out. And he'd be like, "Hey, let's pull out this from 2020, and this is what I." And, you know, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, Dave!" But he's got a bunker. Him and Terrence are 2 people I could never compete with because I know I just don't have the wherewithal and pockets that they do.
We just don't travel enough, which is a good thing. Because we don't need to buy any more than we already have. We already have more whiskey than we'll ever drink, I think.
I guess it's a good problem to have, but it makes it fun when we're able to share some of it.
Yeah.
So have you sampled any of the stuff we traded you yet, or?
I was actually going to hold on to that because I'm like, I want to talk to them about your whiskey, and you guys can tell me and walk me through this. So I was going to save that. I've got it stashed at the corner because I'm like, I want to do it first team live when I'm with you guys sometime. I know that you guys got me coming on for ASW in a couple of weeks, but when you're ready to come on and we go over some Pacific Northwest stuff, I can't wait. I'm there.
Yeah.
This bourbon is confusing. It is, the flavor is different. It's like got this overly ripe fruit, or I can't really put words to what I'm tasting. If I have the right one, I might have mixed them up when I was pouring them.
You're going to get spearmint on the rye. So, okay, so we've drank through them all once. I'm going to go through again, opposite direction this time. So allocation season is upon us.
Yes.
All of the big bottles are dropping over the next few months. They've started this month. What specific types of allocated bottles are you going to be looking for?
So my brother-in-law, Dwayne, is the one that sent me down this rabbit hole. And it started with, you'll never see a Pappy Van Winkle. You'll never be able to find this. You'll never be able to find that. It's like, okay, gauntlet throwing challenge. Let's do this. So a couple months later, after having these conversations of fall last year, I said, okay, I'll start this. So I pretty much achieved everything I wanted to get. So my goal for this fall is to get him a Pappy at MSRP, and I will have it. I'm on a point system at one of the stores I hunt at. I'm in second place. It's going to be there for me, and I'm gonna be taking the picture. I'm not even going to tell my sister-in-law what it is, because last time I got him a good bottle, she couldn't hold her water, and she held it. So I'm just going to tell her, Venmo me this amount, and that's all I'm going to tell her. And then I'm going to wrap it up, and I'll present it to him. So he's going to be getting a Pappy of some kind at MSRP from a point system.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Forward to. Outside of that, I would love to find something to help finish up a BTAC collection that I'm working on. So I have the Handy, the William LaRue Weller, and I have George T. Stagg. So I've got 3 unopens, and I've got 1 open George T. Stagg. But I want to finish up my BTAC just because I'm a collector by nature, and it's adult baseball cards, and I got to have it.
Yeah, normally your angle is just a little bit different when you film your videos, and we can see the beat text behind you, because we're like, oh, does he have all of them? I can't tell. Yeah,
but I've only got 3 of the 5. I do have my others, and I haven't shared this with the rest of my channel yet, too, because I was going to wait till the end of the year showing the best bottles I've got. But I've got, well, let's see if I can get them from where I can't, because I'll have to open up the cabinet. But I've got a Rip Van Winkle, and I've got a Pappy 15 down there below that you can't see.
Nice.
And then I've got an unopened bottle of the 13th Colony. I've got a tiny bit left, which I'm saving hopefully for comparison on this year's. But then I've got an unopened bottle. And it's funny.
The double oak?
Yes, that's the double oaked.
Oh, okay.
And it's funny because my daughter and my son's 12, my daughter is 24 now. They've figured out what the value on some of these bottles are, and they've told me, I want this in the will. So, like, okay.
Well, William Hall, I love your comment, waiting on the kids to move out so you can use the room for new bunker space. That's hilarious. I've got, my daughter is only 9, so I got a bit of time before I can use her bedroom, and we're running out of space. We have a little house. Currently, we're in the pantry. This was the pantry. Now it is the studio.
My wife is so ready for me to move all this bourbon I have out here, and this is kind of in our living room area that I've got a whole corner section to offer this, to move it downstairs to the basement. And that's by first quarter of next year. I'm gonna have it done. I'll be doing everything down there, but I've got to start moving it all down there. And it's like, golly, this is some work, and it's too hot right now. Let it get cooler.
How hot is it in Georgia?
Right today, it was 102 degrees, and the humidity was about 72, 73.
I think I'll pass on hanging out in Georgia.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Bourbon's so good. See, that's why the bourbon.
Yeah, we have like a couple days a year over 100, and like a handful in the 90s. Pretty much everything is like 80s and below here.
Yeah. So we've had a couple weeks in the 90s this year, which is
today,
unusual.
Today's a little warm.
Yeah. But it's definitely a lot drier than that.
Well, I was born and raised my first 20 years in Vegas. And, it's 115 in the summer sometimes there, consistently, 0 humidity. And I get out here and they're like, yeah, but it's a dry heat. I'm like, yeah, but so is an oven. It doesn't feel good.
Sugar Kitty, no need to worry if you're building a new area for the whiskey. Worry when you're buying a second house only for the bottles.
Could be a problem. That could be a problem. My wife's just looking at me side-eyed over there, so I'm in trouble.
I think if you were able to afford a second house just for bottles, maybe it's not a problem because you got plenty of money.
Good point there. See, Michelle?
Yeah. Dave says his wife can only have 2 shelving units that he currently has. 295 bottles so far.
Wow.
That's a great shelving unit, though. If you can put 295 on 2 shelving units, you're doing good. Maximize space.
I don't know how much more can fit on those 2 shelves. That sounds pretty crowded.
My wife some stuff around today, and I'm like, where the hell is this bottle at? And I'm like looking all around for it because she's trying to get, and I love her for this. She's trying to get Halloween decorations out already, and she's like, "This is my area for Halloween decorations." And I'm like, okay, but now where's the bottle?
I think it's too early for Halloween decorations.
Oh.
We're still August. We're getting close, though.
Well, it depends on how much bourbon you have to move to get to them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, but my wife gets mad at me because it's like as soon as Halloween ends, I want to throw up the tree. I'm like, I'm happy, and I get lights, and I can sit there and watch football, and I can have a bourbon, and I'm happy. I don't care if it's like 2 months early. Let's do this. I need to have this all cleaned up for the tree.
You know, which reminds me, football. We maybe didn't pick the best time for our live streams going forward because we love college football. We watch a lot of UW, Washington football, and
I got you.
and they oftentimes play late at night. Luckily, the next few weeks they are like early in the day, so we don't have to cancel our live stream. We'll be done with football before we get to the live stream. But I don't know what's coming later in the season.
No, you're right. It's a challenge because now you have people that tend to like bourbon. A lot of them like football too, and it's like now your allegiance is split. But you're right. I thought about that too. Is I'm even thinking because SEC stuff gets over about this time unless it's a super late game. And we do a bourbon SEC recap at the same time. You know, drink some bourbon.
I like that.
Cast your wounds or to celebrate.
We can maybe get the football game in the live stream so we can watch it while we're having a live stream.
Victor's got the wrong dogs here.
Go.
Wrong dogs.
Oh my goodness.
What's your team?
I'm an Auburn fan, and Georgia routinely kicks our butt. My wife's an Alabama fan, and so I'm getting it from across the river and in my own house most days.
Well, it looks like we've got quite a few football fans in here. We got Gators. And
yeah. It's time to fly them freak flags for your team, so put them in there. So.
Yeah. We're kind of sad to see the Pac-12 kind of going away, but
I mean, what the hell is that? You know, USC, they're probably going to have an opportunity for one of the big playoff games this year unless they implode, and it's their last year in the Pac-12. It's like they shouldn't be able to compete for the Pac-12 for that. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's about a 4-team race in the Pac-12 this year. USC, Utah, Washington, Oregon.
Yeah.
I'd love to tell you that Washington's going to run away with it, but it's going to be a battle down the stretch.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I guess we're going to be Big Ten fans. I don't know that I ever thought that I would say that out loud, but I guess we're going to be rooting for Big Ten next.
That's Washington.
Yeah. I don't know that I can swallow that. We'll just say we're rooting for Washington.
So what are you guys thinking of the cask strength? So the first thing that Laura said was, I can't peg this. This is unusual.
So currently, I've been kind of like ranking these as I've been drinking through them. And I think that sour mash is going to be my winner.
I'm telling you, I like this a lot. And that's sad that it's gone.
It reminds me a lot of Michter's.
Yeah. I can see that.
And the cask strength bourbon right now is hanging out in second, and the cask strength rye is
third,
very close third.
See, I think the cask strengths are lower down for me. For some reason, I like the 95 proof. I think it's got like more flavor that I like. Anyway, a more flavor that I prefer.
So I'm definitely tasting more of the subtleties and nuances in those lower proofs.
Yeah.
But I'm really digging the mouth experience in the cask strengths. You know, I take a drink and it kind of slaps me in the face and makes me say, wow.
Hey, Mark. No, I absolutely, I'm right there with you, Troy. And what's funny is these bottles, at cask strength are only like 4 and 5 years old. So they do have some youthfulness there, which I can understand why Laura says, okay, this is a little bit, but for the flavor experience you get with the 95 and 105 proof, that's why I love their stuff there. And I'm going to have to, when I hunt these down this year, you guys are going to have to get some of the double oak, because that thing will knock you down. It's coming in 135, 136 proof. And Laura, you don't need this, but it'll put hair on your chest, okay? I mean, it is a robust, beefy drink when you drink it.
Well, we've heard nothing but great things. And what did you say? They made like 4,000 bottles or something like that?
I think it was less than 4,000. I was looking at their website before this, so I could
Yeah,
kind of learn a little bit
bottles.
before I'm in.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
And it sold out really quick, right?
Oh, has it? It's not out yet.
Yeah,
Last year's.
only 1,800 bottles.
Okay.
And like by the second week, when it went out, they didn't have huge expectations that it was going to do like it did. And by the second week, people realized this is something special. And they were buying case after case. And then it dried up. And I've been hunting a bottle for a friend, Terrence, for like 6 months now. And I can hunt pretty hard and find stuff and trade for stuff. It is dry. It is 100% dry. So now they're releasing 3,800 bottles this year, but everyone knows it's very good. And so
I saw that the part of that release is on Sealbox, and I think there's another website, Bourbon Outfitters. So, I mean, that means that the couple states that are getting it are not getting as much as you would think. And then I do have a shot, but chances are bots will probably get most of them, or someone buying like 100 bottles or something.
Well, I think they limit how many bottles you may be able to buy online. So locally, I'm already working the people that I know locally to say, hey, do you have this coming in? Or do you want to help me out? Things like that. Working them already. Because I know how special it is, and I know a lot of people want it, and I want a lot of people to try it. I want to get a bottle and just pour 12 2-ounce samples and get it to people just to say, try this, because I dig what they do there. I think they're doing it right. The one thing you worry about with a smaller company that's putting out good products and they're expanding is I hope they don't expand so fast that their quality doesn't keep up. And so as long as they have the good plan for it, and I trust in the people, because the people are outstanding there, they'll do fine. They just need to get those people in place. It's I was talking about Danielle a little bit ago, and a couple of weeks ago I was emailing back and forth with her, and I referenced something to her. I said, look, in history, the winner always writes the narrative. I said, where you're at right now, you've got the pen and the paper. So just keep going. So they have an opportunity to do very good things there.
Yeah, and I mean, they've got so much word out about them, which is great for a small distillery. I mean, they're known nationwide, and
yeah, they don't advertise. We're talking about them, and this is how they do it.
So I don't know if I asked earlier or if it was brought up. They do distill their own whiskeys, correct?
Correct. Now,
is it locally sourced grains and stuff as well?
Locally source their stuff here, whether it's the rye or the corn or the barley. They source locally as much as they can from this area, because they want it to be a true Southern, South Georgia product. Make sure that they're kind of grain to bottle. They don't own all the farms, but they're getting from all the farmers in the area.
Okay, super cool.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of the small distilleries are doing that kind of thing, which I think is awesome. I mean, some of the big ones are because they're growing all the stuff themselves. But it definitely has unique flavor, and I appreciate it. And I, at some point, will head out towards the east so that I can get some of these bottles. If they're only $40, I mean, that's insane.
Yeah. And one thing I've noticed drinking through these 5 that we got tonight, I don't get anything in them that would tell me they're crafty. Typically on
I don't know,
a smaller distillery, Typically on the smaller distilleries, I can tell right away that they're crafty, and I don't know if it's because it's youth or
Yeah.
they're just new at it or what it is.
I feel like it's got to be the yeast strain or something they use. 'Cause
Yeah.
that seems
Yeah.
to have a strong part of the flavor. And I mean, you never really hear much about what yeast people are using.
Yeah, I mean, this stuff tastes like these guys have been distilling for a long time. They know what they're doing. It's good quality distillate, and I'm really enjoying these samples. So thank you very much.
Hey, you're very, very welcome. I'm glad that I can get it to you, because even if you say, okay, it's not my jam, you got to try something from an area that you're probably not going to be in. And if you do like them more, you're like, wow, this is pretty interesting. So the fun part about bourbon, I'm not going to like everything I try, and you guys may not like everything you try, but you'll find that hidden gem that you like. I never knew anything about this, and this is pretty interesting, and I want to check out more on this. So that's the fun part. That's the thing I enjoy, is finding stuff that I'm like, I never heard of this before, but damn, it's good.
Well, I think RJ the Fed, my favorite is the Southern Rye, the standard 95 proof rye. It's got a lot of flavor.
Yep, great drink. Great drink.
It's very good. Very good.
So that one is fifth for me.
You
But
must
that
be a lot
doesn't-
like me.
That does not mean I don't like it, though.
Huh?
I said that does not mean I don't like it, though.
Yeah. No,
This is just a stout lineup.
I like the intensity. It ramps up things, and I pull more things out of them. But I think that, but Baker, well, I call you Baker because that's what I knew you from the beginning. But Laura, you seem to find the nuances even in lower proof stuff that maybe I miss. And I like that about you too, is that, we can pull different things from different things. Some people do a really good job of pulling stuff at lower proof that I can't get. And maybe their palates are more refined or more sensitive. And when the higher proof amps it up, I really get it.
Yeah, sometimes the higher proof, I lose a lot of notes from it. Not because it's burning, but it the oiliness of it, I think it just coats my whole mouth, and I feel like I don't taste a whole lot. I get that. So the Jack Daniel's Coy Hill, that's 100, or I think ours is 143 something proof, and it's amazing. It's quite an experience, but I feel like I taste nothing. It's just like a complete experience, but I have no flavor notes.
I mean, you're a good 40 seconds into that sip before the flavor punches past that ethanol, but it's amazing when it does. And don't let her fool you. She says that cask strength bourbon was last for her. It's the only empty one she's got here.
But that's because it was so interesting. I was trying to figure it out, and I just don't think that it's a flavor that I'd want to keep going back to, but it's good. It's just not my favorite flavor.
And it's a strong second for me. But like I said, the sour mash, it's got such a heavy Michter's vibe. I just really enjoy that. And, we drank that Bumburgers and Shanks earlier today, and maybe it's just kind of sentimental because it's similar in profile to those. But it's today, at least, it's hitting just right for me.
Well, and isn't that funny, too, how certain days your palate will like something a lot more than the other day? And it's ever-changing type of thing. I might have something on my list number 1 2 weeks ago, and I'll go back to it and I'll go, how the hell did I rank that one? This one was better. And it just depends on what I'm taking that day.
Whiskey Bank also likes the 13th Colony Rye. I think anyone that tries it that likes rye whiskey would probably enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really good. I seriously, I get that Wrigley's spearmint gum.
Oh yeah. No, I get that up there, and I have a lot of people in this area. A couple of guys that run some exclusive bars. And they're like, my drink of everyday poor choice is the 13th Colony Rye. They'll put a chip of ice in it just to open it up a little bit. And it's for $40, I'm very happy with it. I'm like, I got it. David, who's on there now from Whiskey Bank, I think we talked about last week about sending you guys, getting you guys a blind and Whiskey Wisdom a blind. I dropped Whiskey Wisdoms off this Thursday. I'm getting you guys a blind. David's going to be a part of that too from Whiskey Bank, so that is going to be a lot of fun. And then we'll have maybe a part of that. So I've got to have 6 bottles for you. I've already got the 6 picked. Got the first set of samples over to Matt, and we're going to have fun with it. So I'm looking forward to that.
And so you're wanting us to taste and blind, rank them, give our notes, and give it back to you.
So what I'd like to do is there's people that are on the channel that I'm going to get to them. What I'd love to do is if you guys are up for this, whether it's on Whiskey Wisdom or your channel, is get everyone on and do it all live. Just so you
okay.
go say, okay, yeah, this is like you rank these tonight. I like this because of this. I like this because of this. And then as you get through, I'll show you this is bottle 1, this is bottle 2, this is bottle 3, all the way through 6.
That sounds fun. I mean,
what didn't Fred Minnick do that with the Ascot Awards? He had all the tasters.
Oh yeah,
together.
that was fun to watch.
Really?
There was a ton of people on his little. I don't know if it was what the app was they were using, but there was like a whole bunch of people. They were little tiny, and they were telling like what they picked and why they picked that one, and then they go to the next person, and then he'd reveal which ones won based on all the votes, and it was kind of fun to watch.
Fun part. That to me, that's the fun part. Because I've got some bottles that I'm like, I put a lot of money into this, and I just don't think it's worth the bang to the buck. Is my mind telling me that? And that's why I want to put it in a blind. I've got others that I really love that are in it.
Benny Walker.
What's that?
So Ben from Bourbon Note is in the chat tonight, and Bourbon Note is famous for doing the Benny Walker special at the end of all of their tastings, where they mix everything into one glass and make a blended pour.
Yeah.
And he calls it the Benny Walker special. So I told Laura she can't drink everything because we still have to do that.
Well, good thing we still have stuff in the sample bottles because I have pretty much drank everything. my glasses aren't going to work so well for this. Well, that tells you I'm enjoying it because sometimes I struggle with it.
We could pour it all in. We could pour it all into one and share.
That sounds good.
Because I don't want to pour more of these samples just for that.
enjoy
I want to
it
enjoy
later.
the rest of these, when we have time to just sit back and chill.
There is 30 people in chat right now.
That's amazing.
That is crazy.
So we're coming up on an hour here. I know a couple people were hoping we were going to have a hangout afterwards. We have to get up pretty early in the morning, so we won't do a hangout tonight, but we will do one from time to time.
Maybe monthly, so that we don't have to commit to.
I mean, we were over 3 hours last time. I don't want to do liver damage every Saturday.
No, you got to fine tune it.
So we'll mix these together. The remainder, it's just a couple drops of each one. I got some final stuff to ask you.
Oh yeah. So what do you have planned next for your channel, and where can people find you other than Echoes in Eternity Bourbon on YouTube?
I suck at my social media. I just started an Instagram account for Echoes in Eternity. I probably for Facebook. I probably need my wife to guide me through this. She's a few years younger, and to tell me how to do all these things. And then, but you can find me on Echoes in Eternity on Instagram. You can find me, of course, on the YouTube. I'm trying to work on something for maybe Twitter, but I am a neophyte in those areas. I know nothing, so I need help.
Well, so YouTube anyway. So what do you have planned next?
So the next stage of this is by Q1 of next year is to have everything down in the basement, have a new setup set up there. I would love to do some lives eventually, but I'm really and maybe have guests come over from my local area and have them on as well. Would be really, really cool. But I want to really have fun with people that are running the channels like you guys and building more of. This is kind of what we want to do, and this is the area we're at. You guys are in Washington, you see this. Me and Matt are in the South. Maybe we find some people in the North and stuff like that. But kind of build a nice network of people together so we can offer all the other members maybe more stuff. So they can come back and say, hey, this is where I saw this, and I would have had no clue on the Pacific Northwest you can find these things and stuff. Because there's a lot of talented people out there that I think get burnt out really easily. Like I watched David at Whiskey Bank, and I'm like, I like his comments and I love his stuff. And he's something similar to you guys is that you like, okay, keep going with it. Like me, keep going with it. Eventually, you'll have more fun with this. And I keep having more and more fun every day, but get more people involved because I don't have the answers to everything, and I learn something new every day. And so that way you grow more of a community. I want to grow a tribe.
Well, that sounds great. And Canadian Chris says, how can you do socials when you record 2 videos a day?
Well, yeah. I work a full-time job too, you know.
And you do a very good job of commenting on everyone's videos too. You're always commenting on our videos. I can't believe you have time to watch so many videos.
Well, actually, my wife is a Braves fan, and so she'll watch the Braves game, and I'll look at stuff and comment and stuff. But once Braves season's over, she's gonna be looking at side-eyed like, what chick are you talking to right now? I'm like, I'm not. This Matt from Whiskey Wisdom right now, or this Laura, you know, and I'm like, come on. So I'm like, you can have my phone. It's unlocked. You comment if you want. I don't care.
Yeah.
But
So
I think that's the fun part of the interaction, is that's how you truly grow and learn with people, is by actually taking the time to interact with them and watching their stuff. And I get so much, I'm like, I watch you guys and I watch other people. I'm like, that's a great idea. Why didn't I think of that? Now I'm like, I can't use that idea because now I feel like I'm ripping you off, you know, but I've got to stuff too. So, you know,
can still use the idea, because a lot of times, like, we have a whole notebook of ideas, and like, I mean, Troy is a little bit insane with his planning stuff out. Like, he's got like every day planned out for the next like several months. Like, this video is going to be on this day.
Not that bad.
At least 2 months. Okay, I mean, it's pretty intense, and we have these ideas planned, and then we see one of the big channels like post it, and I'm like, oh, they beat us to it. So
no, I mean, the Whiskey Bank did one the other day that I've been wanting to do, but just haven't found the time yet. On I was going to do what is Redwood Empire, the difference between their normal and their cask strength. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do that. When I'm watching him do, I'm like, tears. I'm like, nope, not doing that.
No, just still put it out. It doesn't matter. I mean, we're all drinking whiskey. It doesn't matter if we drink the same whiskey.
and you guys have different subscribers, I'm sure. There's a lot that are the same from channel to channel, but
yeah,
you know, by bringing you on with us, hopefully we're exposing you to some of our subscribers, and hopefully we're getting exposed to some of yours. And it's about community.
Well, you know, I absolutely love your channel. I think you guys are going to be at 1,000 in no time. You guys put out funny content, very insightful content. I wish I was a lot like you, Troy, in the fact that I could notate what I'm going to do from day to day. You might find this very surprising, but I don't know what the video I'm going to do is until I wake up that day and look at the bottle and go, okay. And then it's one shot. I do everything in one shot unless the ghost cuts me off on my team or on my phone. I do everything one shot and edit it from there. I don't have a clue what I'm going to do usually from day to day.
That's how I started the channel. That's how I was. And when I was doing it by myself, I was like, I don't know. And he's like, well, what are you posting tomorrow? I'm like, I don't know. I guess I got to film something.
Yeah. And
it drove him crazy. So he has joined me and fixed my problems.
No, she had actually started this channel one day when I was at work, and probably had put out 4 or 5 videos before I ever even knew she was doing this. And you know, so I found out, started watching, told some people at work, and they subscribed, and the channel just started growing from there. And I told her if she ever hits 500 subscribers that I would come on with her for at the time it was going to be a live stream. It ended up being a premiere. Yeah, but we had so much fun and got such a great response from the community, everybody asking that I do more with the channel. So we've just kind of slowly worked me in, and there's still a lot of, you know, that'll be Laura specific content. And I put out a couple without her, the 1 bourbon, 1 scotch, 1 beer.
I saw that. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. So I have a lot of fun doing it. And usually it's when Laura's at work and I'm bored, and I'm like, well, I'll make something for the channel, and maybe we can get ahead a little bit. But I love that you're able to, you know, wake up, pick a bottle, do it in one shot with no edits, and
he didn't say no edits. He says he does one shot and then he edits.
Okay, well, you add stuff into it, but I don't see you like you're talking, then all of a sudden you jump over here and then you jump over here where you've cut something out
generally it's one shot, and you're getting whatever God graced me to come out of that mouth at that moment, whether it's good or bad, you're getting it. But it's all. Here's what I'm thinking at this moment.
Yeah, it all seems very fluid. You got a great mind for it, and the gift of gab.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and if anybody out there is wondering about this blend, it's actually really good. So,
it might actually like beat all of the bottles by itself. It's one of those, like, normally like the blend, I'm like, that's not great. Some of them are really bad. This one, it's like I guess a bourbon, a rye or something. It's got like flavors of rye and flavors of bourbon, and it's really sweet, and it's not crazy tasting. It actually tastes like something you'd want.
Yeah, so it was literally just a splash of each one of these. You know, it was like barely out of the base of the Glen. You ought to try it sometime. It's pretty good.
I'm thinking about my 13th Colony Infinity bottle now.
Yeah, that would be a hit. That would be a hit.
Well, whoever won that bottle of your subscribers would be really happy.
There you go. So have you guys had much experience with the Infinity bottles at all?
So when we first started, collecting whiskey and getting into it hardcore, we saw some other channels talking about it, and we went out and got the crystal decanter and, put like a half ounce of this and a half ounce of that. And, most of our pretty heavy hitter bottles, there was a lot of Stag Juniors and, Kentucky Owls and Old Carters and all these, like, just
anything that we really liked, we threw in there because we're like, well, it can't make it bad because it's starting out with something good.
Yeah. So we put it in this decanter and waited probably 4 or 5 months. We waited for my birthday.
Okay.
It smelled amazing. I had my boys over. We all poured a glass. It was awful.
I mean, it wasn't awful, but it wasn't as good as any of the bottles that went into the blend.
It was a complete waste of whiskey.
I mean, we drank it, but it
I'd be worried. I've done 2 Infinity bottles now. One I gave away at 250 subscribers. And the guy that I got it to, he was like, I was worried this was going to be horrible, but he gave me all these wonderful notes and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, cool. So now I've got another one I'm giving away. And it's got like George T. Stagg, 13th Colony Double O, got the Jack Daniels Barrel Proof Single Barrel. I'm like, it's going to be trash. Because I thought I heard that story from you. I'm thinking, oh, please.
I'm sure whoever tries it will enjoy it. I mean, the best whiskey oftentimes is free whiskey.
Yeah. So do you watch SLB Drinks at all?
I do.
Yeah. So what they do with their Infinity bottle is after they do their filming or whatever, they pour all of the leftover remnants of their samples into their Infinity bottle.
Okay.
And I think they give it away to a subscriber as well.
Well, see, I've heard that one, but then I think about my wife, and she is like the biggest germaphobe ever. Even though alcohol, and it's killing it. She'd be like, hell no, I'm getting somebody else's spit in a bottle multiple times.
Oh, yeah, they warn people. They're like, if you're getting this, you have to know this was in our glass. We drank from it.
No, I'm of the, hey, alcohol killed it all. Let's go. My wife's like, hell no, it ain't going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know that I want anyone's whiskey that they bottle chugged from or that they had in a glass and they got sick of drinking it, so they poured it in a bottle.
You see those channels where they're doing a bottle chug and they're like, you come to our house, you can have a drink of anything here. And I'm like, I don't know if I want any.
Yeah. That is funny.
So does your wife also drink whiskey?
My wife hates whiskey. She got so sick when she
did she just scowl?
Huh?
Did she just scowl?
She just went, so, but she hates whiskey. And that's the funny part is when she got so sick when she was younger, like most of us did, either some Jack Daniels, so old number 7. I'm old number 7. And she was just like, I can't even smell it. And so I'll be out here and I'll be smelling on something and tasting on something. I'm like, oh, I'm getting it. And she'll grab it. You're full of crap. I'm like, no. So we have this internal debate. She tells me I'm full of crap all the time, but I'm like, no, you get this and this. She's like, that just smells like whiskey to me. I'm like, okay.
You know what? There are some bottles that we taste and smell, and we're like, it just smells like whiskey. Like, I got nothing special about this one. It
Tastes
smells
like bourbon.
It tastes like bourbon.
Tastes like bourbon. I get some brown sugar. I get a little bit of vanilla, and I got some oak. It tastes like bourbon. I'm good. So, but I mean, the other things you can pull things out of, and I really enjoy. And I think Troy, you're more of the Amburana cast finish person.
Yeah, so I like that quite a bit.
I've had the opportunity. Southern Collective was at one of the stores that I frequent a lot, and they had a rye that's being done in Amburana cask, and it is fantastic. And when I get some of that, which will be in about 2 to 3 weeks, I will make sure you get that. I think it's outstanding.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. So they're an up and comer too, but they're more out of Tennessee. I think out of the Nashville area.
Okay.
But they do the King of Georgia, which I fell in love with, which was a 15-year MGP, and it's a lot coming in at 136 proof.
That's weird that they would have a King of Georgia if they're from Tennessee.
Yeah, but they only did, I think, 120 something bottles of it, and I think I ended up about 8 of them.
Well, I think,
but I've given away samples from like 3 of them. I mean, I give samples away tons, so I'm like, you have a sample. Everyone's getting
give them out.
Yeah, I think we have a sample of that too. That's so when we don't have a guest on for one of these, we're going to do random samples out of the box, and it's in that pool.
Cool. That is absolutely.
I think we're going to wrap it up for this evening, though. We don't want to stay on too long. We appreciate you coming on, and we're excited that you'll be back in 2 weeks.
2 weeks,
So
yeah.
if anyone likes this live stream,
absolutely,
you can come back in 2 weeks. You'll see something similar. And go subscribe to Echoes and Eternity Bourbon if you have not already. Puts out content multiple times a day. He's crazy with that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
well,
solid content.
I've Troy and Laura, I've been following your channel because I think I started following your channel about the time I started putting mine on, and I'm like, oh, what are they doing? What are they doing? And you guys have always kept me inspired, and I appreciate that because I like to see people that just keep going with the content and pushing the envelope a little bit more, and they develop more and more every day. And I love watching you guys grow.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it. We enjoy watching your channel as well. And to everyone else, thanks for all your support. Thanks for this comment. This thread has just been
this community's amazing.
Rolling this evening. So cheers to all of you guys.
Cheers.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next Saturday.
Good night.